Hello, I'm back in my living room, but this time not with Kyle. I'm here with...
I'm Vito Magrino from the channel SeerDruid25174. I normally don't cover movies, but I mainly do voiceover stuff, but occasionally I'm hoping to actually break in more into the viewing of movies scene.
And you do like film and
Yeah.
comic books.
I do. I really love comic books, even though I kind of showed up in the wrong shirt for today, because we are not discussing Wolverine.
But we are both wearing blue, like the Fantastic Four.
Yes, we are.
So that's right. With the new Fantastic Four film coming out very soon, I've always had it in mind that I was going to talk about the famous or infamous Roger Corman produced, unreleased Fantastic Four film from the 90s. And who better to do it with than a comic book lover?
Yes, I also do love comics.
So I guess, like, before we talk about the movie, we kind of just need to discuss, like, Marvel at this point. Marvel really, in terms of movies, the biggest one that they had in terms of budget, cast, and, effects, it's Howard the Duck.
Unfortunately, yes, that is true. Howard the Duck, surprisingly, has a bit more fanfare. Don't get me wrong, everybody hates that movie.
It's silly.
It's silly, but it's just like a not good kind of silly.
But at that point, that's the only Marvel movie that's, like, on a big budget. It was George Lucas.
Should have been an early sign of what was to come.
Yeah. And because most of Marvel was TV, and that's how it started out. You had the 70s Spider-Man show, the Hulk show.
There was an Iron Man cartoon that came out before he even got a single comic.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yep, that was a thing.
Yeah, and then there were pilots for both Doctor Strange and Captain America, which I've talked about those before. Go watch those videos.
Correct me if I'm wrong, did Pride of the X-Men come out at that time? I don't think it did, but, like, it was something.
Yeah, Chris Claremont, right?
Yeah, but also Pride of the X-Men, did not do my guy justice with the voice. That's for sure.
Oh, the 89 show.
Pride of the X-Men, yeah, I know I'm kind of jumping a little ahead.
Oh yeah, they made him Australian in that.
Yeah.
Okay, but then, they tried to make them into, like, TV shows, and they still did at this time because then Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno, they came back to do the Hulk show, the Hulk TV movies. They tried to launch a Thor show with Incredible Hulk Returns. They tried to do a Daredevil show. Have you seen any of those movies?
I surprisingly have only seen the Lou Ferrigno, like when the live action Lou Ferrigno Hulk stuff, which is something of its time.
But have you seen, like, these TV movies that I talked about? It's still Lou Ferrigno, but it's with
some
Thor.
of them. The Thor one I remember seeing and not really liking, but it was weird. It was just weird to me.
I mean, I have enjoyment for those two. Definitely Incredible Hulk, the final, film for both, like, Lou and Bill. I have not seen that one because it's not available, or, like, the DVD copies are, like, very expensive. But besides Howard the Duck being the only big theatrically released film that they had, you then had The Punisher and Captain America.
Punisher kind of happened twice because there's the one with Dolph Lundgren, and then there's the one with Tom Jane?
Yeah, Thomas Jane. But I'm talking, like, in like the 80s and 90s. Yeah, you had the Punisher and Captain America, which were meant to be released in theaters, but then they just went straight to video.
The Punisher one went straight to video? I thought I remember seeing stuff about getting a theatrical release.
I think in Europe it did, but they did not do well.
Yeah, well, I think the one with Thomas Jane is also considered a very much cult classic.
Well, that's like that's post X-Men Blade.
I know it's way after.
Because Blade really was, like, the first Marvel movie since Howard the Duck to be, like, a big.
It was one of the first, like, Marvel movies that kind of really did well.
Yeah.
Thanks, New Line. And then you degraded the films over time. We don't talk about that, but
Yeah. So. Yeah, Punisher, Captain America, they're low budget, and because, like, all that's big on, in the 90s, it's really Batman, the Batman movies, and the Ninja Turtle movies.
The Ninja Turtle movies, the ones with the suits made by the Henson
Yes.
Company, right?
Yeah. That's like really what's big in terms of comic books. And then like they try to like prep like a bunch of like pulp characters. They try to do the Phantom, the Shadow.
The Shadow is I actually haven't watched that one, but I've looked into the history of the Shadow before, and it's actually interesting.
Mm.
There was also Dick Tracy. I think that was more.
Oh
90s.
yeah, Dick Tracy was also. Yeah, Dick
I know
Tracy was
that
there.
Dick Tracy was just.
It was like a Warren Beatty passion project.
Yeah, but also now it's any chance of a sequel ever happening has been basically put in limbo because Beatty refuses to give up the rights.
I didn't know that. Oh, because that's interesting. How when we're going to talk about the reason why this film got made. Because I thought there's like a certain amount of time you can hold the rights until a certain point.
He keeps renewing it. That's the thing.
Okay, well,
Yes.
that's a story for another time. But I've never seen the Dick Tracy movie.
Maybe you should invite me back for that one.
Yeah, maybe we'll review it. Because then there's also the other good comic book movie. There's also like The Crow, amazing film.
R.I.P. Brandon Lee.
Yeah, and then Judge Dredd. It's
Dredd
love or hate it.
It's something.
I enjoy that movie.
It's enjoyable.
The overall 90s is a strange time for comic book films, and Fantastic Four, unlike Captain America and Punisher, which at least they got released on video. This movie,
This one did
not.
It was the seedy, dark side of Hollywood. The part of Hollywood that you just go, why does it have to be like that?
Alright, so a sort of misconception about this movie that it was like it's all Roger Corman production.
Which not really. It wasn't. All he did was mainly help fund it. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
It's alright. He didn't direct this movie at all. He was actually done directing at this point. Later this year, I might talk about his last movie leading up to a new film that's going to be related to it. But the one that really started it was a producer called Bernd Eichinger, from Germany, who bought the rights in the 80s. Bernd Eichinger, he produced actually all of both the Tim Story Fantastic Four films.
Really?
Yeah, and his company, Constantine Films, he didn't he didn't found it, but I think more he created New Constantine. It's still like a.
It was New Constance Production. It's what it was called.
Yeah,
he had the rights to Fantastic Four, and according to what I was reading, it seems like he got it for a pretty cheap amount.
Yeah, which most comic book stuff was cheap at that time.
Yeah, because no one really wanted that in the market.
Yeah. Because this is around we also should say Superman the movie is big. It inspired a lot of comic book stuff, but then Superman 3 and Supergirl kind of
Don't forget Superman 4.
Well, no, even Superman 4 that was because I'm just saying Superman, because Superman 4 that was also a low budget company. Superman 3 and Supergirl made most studios lose their faith in comic book stuff just after 2 movies. But Bernd Eichinger, unlike Roger Corman, Roger Corman liked being low budget. He liked making B movies. Bernd Eichinger did make a lot of pretty popular movies. So yeah, he did produce the 2 Tim Story Fantastic Four movies, and his production company Constantine Films. Because after his death, he did not live to produce this movie.
I feel bad for him not even getting it to his touches. I feel like it would at least be a bit more bearable.
Yeah, he didn't produce the Josh Trank film.
All he did was produce this.
Yes, his company still, but yeah, his company is one of the studios that is attached to the new Fantastic Four film.
It is?
Yeah, I mean you went on that whole thing though about how 20th Century Fox still kind of owns X-Men and Fantastic Four, but under the Disney banner.
Yeah.
Because you explained that to me.
Because 20th Century Fox, at the time when they bought the rights, Marvel was going bankrupt, which is why, Spider-Man's now owned by Sony, and why Sony, I'm going to call you out here, let us get characters in MCU, man. But instead of me going on that tangent, and then, you got on New Line Cinema, I don't know if this was beforehand, but they got Blade, which got Blade,
And Venom. They had Venom briefly.
Yeah, they did, and they were gonna try to make something with Venom, and it never went through.
Yeah.
And then Venom eventually also went to Sony, and then we got really the only good thing that came out of the villain versus the first Venom movie. I kind of Let There Be Carnage, but you know what? I'm not gonna let that spew. But there's also Disney had they bought Marvel, and then we get the MCU, but Sony also had Spider-Man, so. And they still do, actually.
Yeah, they do. But yeah, besides the Fantastic Four, Burton Iger also produced other movies that are pretty noteworthy. He produced the Resident Evil films.
Which ones did he produce?
He did the first one leading up to because he died before the franchise even ended. But he worked on some of the Resident Evil films. He worked on the Never Ending Story.
Oh, he worked on that?
Yeah, he was a producer on these movies. He was also a producer on Downfall.
Downfall is something I don't think I've seen.
Do you know that? Do you know Downfall?
Not really.
Okay, it's the one about the final days of Hitler.
Das war ein Befehl! Der Angriff Steiners war ein Befehl! Wer schickt Sie, dass Sie es wagen, sich meinen Befehl zu widersetzen?
Oh, jeez.
He produced that, and he also wrote it. He
wrote it?
Yeah, he's one of the writers, I think, on it, because he's German.
Did he also write the 94 Fantastic Four?
No, he didn't write it at all. He produced, he bought Fantastic Four in the 80s. He probably wanted it to be, since he was this, he was a popular producer, I think he wanted, the Fantastic Four to be like what Superman was to the Salkinds. He wanted this to be like a big franchise like what Superman was. But no studio really was interested because Fantastic Four, in some ways, is a little more costly
It would be
than
very
Superman.
difficult, especially for the time period where CGI was kind of in its infancy.
Yeah.
And trying to make it practically is not always the best, especially when it comes to Human Torch.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the Human Torch effects later. But he went around the big studios, and then he got to the point where he got to the bottom of the barrel with Roger Corman. Before Roger Corman,
He went to Trauma.
yes, he went to Troma, and Troma didn't really want to do it because of what their brand was, the movies they made. They thought it would kind of ruin their relationship with Marvel at the time. That's because
I had a relationship with Marvel.
We're gonna talk about it a little bit,
We'll
but
get to that,
there's a documentary called Doomed. Highly recommend it. We're gonna be talking about it a lot. And Lloyd Kaufman was one of the people that ended up as an interviewee, and that was my first introduction of Lloyd Kaufman.
That's how you found out about Trauma?
I knew what Toxic Avenger was. That was the first time I saw, the creator of him, the owner of Troma. My first time ever seeing Lloyd Kaufman. And if you know Lloyd Kaufman, he's kind of a crazy guy.
He's very eccentric.
But in the documentary, he is so
Composed.
yeah, he's acting so normal. It's bizarre. Yeah, he's not saying anything weird. He's not from what I've seen in documentaries or just stuff. He's either being he's being a quirky, funny guy with a very dirty mouth, or he's being a very grouchy old guy in that last Blockbuster documentary. That's what he is, but in this movie he is so mild-mannered.
It's a little frightening at times with how much he is very much so, dude. I'm just because I was rewatching it recently. I was waiting for moments where it's going to be okay, starts saying something raunchy, and
Yeah,
he
he
doesn't.
he doesn't. It's because for me, I was just like, okay, that's a movie producer. And then as I go on, I see other videos of Lloyd Kaufman, and he is, whoa. Especially if you've seen, if you ever seen the AVGN video, you know that he's a crazy guy. But yeah, so it got to the point where like he asked Roger if he can start a production of the Fantastic Four, because his rights over the Fantastic Four were going to expire by the end of '92, and they started pre-production auditioning around late 1992.
Was first handed the script, I assumed it wasn't going to be ours. Steve Rabner, who was an in-house producer and attorney for Roger, walked up to me in the hall with a smile on his face and handed me this script without saying a word. He knew I had come from a comic book background, having worked in a comic book shop for years, and I collected comic books, so he knew the reaction he was going to get. And I held the script in my hand, and it said The Fantastic Four, and I simply thought Universal or Warner Brothers was producing, and I was like, who's doing this? And he said, we are.
So yeah, the movie started production late 1992 with a budget of $1 million.
Yeah, it's exactly $1 million on the dot.
Yeah, which is actually a little more expensive than Corman's usual films. But you got to remember, this was not just a Roger Corman movie. This was a co-production.
It was a co-production between him.
Yeah, New Horizon
and
Constantine
Films.
Films. Yeah, Bernd Eichinger. So it was a little more expensive for Roger Corman, but not the budget really for Fantastic Four.
Especially when you look at we'll cover it later, but
So the film was directed by Ole Sassoon, who I think he did more like music videos. He
is a music video guy. Yeah, like he was more known for music video directing. It's like the same kind of predicament that I know this has nothing to do with it, and I'm not talking about David Fincher, but that is, I guess, a really good example. But I'm talking about more the directors for the 1983 Mario movie, the Rocky and Annabelle Jangle.
Oh yeah,
they were more known for music videos.
Yeah, well, Max Headroom was that music videos? I forget what Max Headroom is.
Max Headroom was something for Coca-Cola.
Oh, okay, I don't really. Let's not go further down that hole.
Yeah, we're not going down that hole.
I got a
Fantastic Four video.
We're gonna talk about Mario next year. Ole Sassoon music videos, and he did direct a few movies, mostly low budget films. One film to mention though, he directed a film called Future Shock, an anthology film that he directed a segment of, and another segment was directed by another comic book film director, Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves. Oh.
Yes, the director of the Fantastic Four and the Batman both worked on an anthology film together.
That's crazy.
It is very crazy. So the script was by two writers, Kevin Rock, the Thing. The stuff that he did before this, he wrote Howling 6, The Freaks. Have you ever seen Howling 6, The Freaks?
I have not, but I should probably go do research on it.
I tried watching all the Howling movies, but when I got up to 5, I couldn't finish it, or I couldn't.
I've seen Howling 2. Your sister is a werewolf.
Yes. Blah.
That is a good one. Christopher Lee kills it.
Yeah, he does. He also wrote Warlock, the Armageddon. You ever seen Warlock, any of the Warlock films?
No, I have not seen any of the Warlock films.
I haven't either. I should get on that. Craig J. Nevus, who wrote Roger Corman produced films like the Black Scorpion films. There was a series of films called Black Scorpion, and I don't really know.
Now, I have not seen any of these.
I don't know. He also directed another film called A Very Unlucky Leprechaun, which stars Warwick Davis.
The guy who played the Leprechaun?
Yes, and he played Leprechaun And then he played a very unlucky leprechaun.
That's just funny.
Yep. And he also wrote like these a 2D Aladdin straight to DVD cash grab, and then a Ten Commandments animated cash grab.
Was it like a low budget cash grab, or was it like a high budget one?
No, it was low. No, it was like straight to DVD and.
Yeah, those didn't have many good budgets.
Yeah. Then he also and before Fantastic Four, he wrote a comedy called Happy Together, which stars actors like Patrick Dempsey, from Scream 3, Helen Slater, Supergirl, Brad Pitt from Deadpool 2.
Yes, Vanisher for like 10 seconds.
Yeah. And then the last actor that stars in the movie is the famous Dan Schneider.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
We don't talk about Dan Schneider.
Okay, moving on. So let's talk about the fantastic cast that's in this movie. So we have Alex Hyde-White as Reed Richards. Alex Hyde-White has been in some stuff. He's been in a couple of Spielberg films. He's in, I want to say he played young Henry Jones Sr. in The Last Crusade, like in the opening.
I know that, I'll save it for when we get to it, but you might be right about that, but I can't fact check you on that.
Yeah, but it says he's in the movie, he's credited, even in the rolling of credits, but I don't really, I never see you never see his face, and it's I almost think that was I thought that always was Sean Connery in the flashback scene, but I'm guessing it's Alex Hyde-White. It's so weird, but I can definitely confirm that he's in Catch Me If You Can as the divorce lawyer in the film. That's definitely Alex Hyde-White in that film. He's also in Pretty Woman, Ishtar, which I hear is a really bad movie. He was in a Phantom of the Opera film from the late 80s. That starred Robert Englund as the Phantom.
Ooh, that sounds like it would be interesting.
Yeah, I've been. If the Phantom of the Opera movie with Rachel Zegler, I think, ever happens, maybe I'll talk about it.
Please don't let that movie happen.
Please, so I can talk about a better movie or something. And recently, he's been in films such as Nope by Jordan Peele.
Yeah, he's in the role.
Yeah, he's a very small role. And then he also made an appearance on the Netflix Dahmer series.
Oh God.
With Quicksilver.
Evan Peters.
Yep. And before Fantastic Four, he was in a Marvel movie. He was in Captain America 2: Death Too Soon as Guy on the Street.
Really, just Guy on the Street?
Yep.
No, he wasn't given an actual name or anything.
Yeah, he was just young man, really.
Young man.
You like Alex Hyde-White as Mr. Fantastic?
He seems like I could buy him being Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
There are certain scenes where it's it breaks, but overall he seems like a very much good Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah. Out of the three that we have, he's my favorite.
I mean, obviously Tellers is kind of the worst.
Yeah, but I don't really blame it on Tellers.
You blame him once.
Well, that's another day. I love him as Mr. Fantastic, and we'll see how Pedro does. Then Rebecca Staub plays Susan Storm. She would be on Seinfeld, one episode, and she would be in Superman and Lois, the new one.
She was in the new one?
Yeah, that's what I saw on her IMDb. I never watched this show. Did you watch it?
I haven't watched it yet, but I've been meaning to, especially because I know it got kind of canceled abruptly.
Well, I know it was canceled. I thought it got a proper
It got a proper ending, but to me it felt like kind of from what I've seen from cast interviews, it was kind of abrupt. When they found out. Now, but the story as to why it was ending, that's a story for another time.
Oh, probably because it's probably because of the James Gunn one.
Yeah, probably about that, but we'll talk about that another day.
Do you like Rebecca Staub as Sue Storm?
I mean, I find her to be pretty believable. I think she
looks
good. Character, the part.
But I don't think we've really gotten the best Sue Storm, to be honest. Hopefully Kirby might.
Vanessa Kirby, from what I've seen,
she
looks
might
like
be.
she could be a really good Superman.
She might be like the best.
Invisible.
She might be the best that we've had. But yeah, I mean, just we haven't like got a great like Sue Storm like character. But I'd say right now Rebecca Stab I think was like the best before Vanessa Kirby because she really looks like her and all that. And also, well, we're gonna talk about that one thing soon. But quickly, young Susan was in like the Addams Family films.
Which one's one from the 90s?
Yeah, she was like in them as like someone that Wednesday didn't like. Alright, so then you have Jay Underwood as Johnny Storm. Jay Underwood was in like
He was in Uncle Buck.
yeah that's the biggest thing that he was really in. He was definitely a really he was a working actor, like he had a lot of credits, and that's why he got casted because of like his what he had from what I've seen, he's in a lot of like I guess like direct to video TV movie Disney stuff. Like there was he's in a movie called The Invisible Kid.
Foreshadowing for him.
Yeah.
Wait, did that come out after or before?
No, it was before. But because another thing that he was in a few episodes of the Young Indiana Jones TV show.
Yes,
playing,
that I saw it too.
Yeah, playing Ernest Hemingway. He's in like 3 episodes, and it's always funny. He's good. I like
his portrayal of Human Torch carries. And it's a really good portrayal, especially now. And this will probably not be the last time I mention this. When you look at portrayals like of Human Torch over the years, Chris Evans from the stories ones, he's not bad.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan also wasn't
Michael
bad.
B. Jordan, I'm iffy on, but like, especially when we also go into voice performances with stuff like in funny hero shooter game Marvel Rivals, which fun fact, he's voiced by Crash Bandicoot. I honestly could imagine him being as snarky as he is now, like especially with portrayal in Marvel Rivals and stuff. I buy it, and he seems like he really does do a really good job, especially considering Human Torch especially is one of my favorite Fantastic Four characters. He's like my favorite out of the 4. There's a lot of bias for me for him there, but in all seriousness, he does an amazing job.
Yeah, and him and Rebecca Staab would both reunite in a film called Surge of Power: Revenge of the Sequel, which
is it a spoof movie? Please tell me.
Yeah, it is like a spoof. It's like a sequel to a movie called Surge of Power that was made in 2005, and this was made in like 2018, and it had a lot of like a bunch of B movie superhero actors. Like it had Reb Brown in it. It had Lou Ferrigno. The Soup Nazi from Seinfeld is in it.
What? We got you.
We might have to check out the Surge of Power movies. Okay, so then you got Michael Bailey Smith as Ben Grimm and the voice of the Thing. We'll talk about the stunt actor later. So some of the stuff that he did, he played Super Freddy in Nightmare on Elm Street 5. Did you ever see that one?
I don't like talking about Nightmare on Elm Street 5.
Okay, well, he's in that one as like Super Freddy in like in the comic book Kid Nightmare. That was him as Freddy, not Robert Englund. He's in the Hills Have Eyes remake, which I haven't seen.
And then made by Platinum Dunes, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Michael Bay's company. Okay, and then I mean, you would know this better. So he's in Men in Black 2.
Oh, he's in Men in Black 2?
Yeah, he's in Men in Black 2 as one of like the alien criminals. And Men in Black's not Marvel, but like the company was Malibu Comics got bought by Marvel.
Yeah. It's like Marvel adjacent, but it's technically not Marvel.
Yeah. But like, doesn't the first Men in Black, if I can remember back, I think the first Men in Black opens up, say, based on the comics by Marvel or something.
Because it was more had to do with the fact that legally Malibu Comics was already bought by Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
So Marvel technically could say, yes, that if they were going to republish the Men in Black comics now, yeah, it would probably be published under the Marvel name.
Are they still owned by Marvel?
I have no idea, but I can look into that at some point.
All right. So, and then you have Carl Cifarello as the Thing, and
The actual suit.
And he was like a stunt actor. I think, yeah, he's played like
he was like a stunt man.
But he's in License to Kill, Natural Born Killers.
I'm noticing a theme here.
Yeah, Con Air, Fight Club, Traffic. In the documentary, I think he really liked his role in Casino.
I played a lot of bad guys, played a lot of these guys, and I've even had my head crushed, in the movie Casino.
I got your head in a fucking vice. I'm gonna squash your fucking head like a grape.
I was fortunate enough to be casted in the role of Tony Dogs, and he's the guy that gets his head stuck in a vice, and Joe Pesci spits and twists until the eyeball pops out.
And then he was also in another Marvel film before this. He was in The Incredible Hulk Returns. He's in the one with Thor as like a security guard. So, but it is weird. We should mention how, like, as Michael Bailey Smith is a pretty big dude, and he really could have been the Thing.
Auditioned for this movie called The Fantastic Four. I thought, okay, good. I'm Ben Grimm. Well, Ben Grimm turned the Thing. I'm gonna do the whole character. And then when I found out that they already hired the stunt guy, I'm like, what? I was pissed. I was really freaking pissed.
Seems Loverboy is not quite himself today. Kill him.
Even though later on I understand the reason why.
And Michael's like 6'5". I mean, he's tall and broad. And so it's funny, if you watch the movie close enough, when Ben morphs into the Thing, instead of being Ben morphing out into the Thing, it's Ben, and he kind of morphs into the Thing. Then he morphs a little littler, smaller, because he was just so big to begin with. And so I just think if it would have jumped backwards, and if that suit was actually built on Michael, that would have been huge.
But I'm guessing that he wasn't casted.
He was mainly casted just to play Ben Grimm. But when you look at photos of him from the time period,
he's bigger.
He looks like Ben Grimm straight out of the comics.
And he's bigger than, I think he's bigger even than Carl. Like when you look at images, I think he's way bigger than him.
He is a bit bigger, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but I think he wasn't like. I think they made the suit before they casted him, and that was like the only suit they had of the Thing, because that's like how low budget it was.
They had a budget of like $1 million, which it seemed like a lot
because they only had one.
And they made the mold first, and they didn't cast Ben Grimm, which I feel like you should make. Even then, cast Ben Grimm first, then make the molds.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Ben Grimm, the depiction of the Thing?
It's all right. I mean, it's one of only 2 practical suits in versions of the Thing, because the Thing to me always looks better with a practical look, not CGI. And we'll see if the new Fantastic Four will change my mind on that. But if it does, then I'm not going to apologize about Fan 4 Stick.
Yeah. I mean, I love this depiction of the Thing overall. I do really love the suit. I love the effect on the mouth. I mean, it's, because, it's the same time you had the Ninja Turtles. The Thing is a little harder to do because it's it's, Ninja Turtles is like a humanoid turtle. But the Thing, it's
a giant rock man.
Yeah, but it's not really something that's you'd think would be real or something.
Yeah, but they were also mainly going for they were basing it more off Jack Kirby's designs.
They did, really,
more than anything else, and it's pretty blatant.
Yeah, I love it. I like it. I love the animatronic mouth. I love just the overall texture of the suit. It because look, I do love Michael Chiklis as Ben Grimm as the Thing. But I don't know, the suit that he wore, it looked good, but I never really believed him as really the Thing, even though he really pushed for it. I really do. I think this is my favorite Thing, but that's the theme. This is kind of my favorite version of the Fantastic Four. we'll continue
see
on.
if
Yeah.
that changes when First Steps
Maybe.
comes out. You should invite me for a review of that because
Yeah, we'll get to that.
We'll eventually
get to that, but I do love the thing. I love the effects on the thing. Yeah, it was a great portrayal of the character. Even Stan Lee. We'll talk about how the documentary portrays Stan Lee. Like Stan Lee told Michael Bailey Smith that that's who he envisioned as Ben Grimm.
Between takes, he came up to me and he goes, Michael, I have to tell you, you are what I envisioned Ben Grimm to be. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. And I, at the time, didn't really know how the gravity of that, what that meant. And I didn't really know Stan Lee as much as, how huge of an icon he is. So that really meant a lot.
And both actors overall do a great job, even though really should have just been Michael Bailey Smith in the suit. But moving on. Because then you have Joseph Culp as Victor Von Doom. Again, he's my favorite Von Doom.
Especially like when it comes to the suit though. This is the most comic accurate suit we've gotten.
Because
of Dr. Doom.
Because they're all because the other two are robot men, basically, right?
They look like robot men, and that's the problem.
And we'll see what they're doing with RDJ.
He's not gonna mainly be involved in the story though for that, and
obviously not Fantastic Four, but in Avengers, I don't know, because now he's saying he's playing other characters, and it's.
That bridge will cross when we get there, if ever.
But I love Joseph Culp as Von Doom in this.
He is.
The only problem, though, is that he couldn't really record his voice, even though Michael Bailey Smith recorded his voice for the thing. That's one of the things.
You are pitiful.
And then I did go in to do the looping because I knew, we were going to have to record Doom's speeches and a lot of it to really create a sound. And Ole was on another gig, and I talked to him on the phone, and he said, well, the stuff that we really need, we're going to get, but I really like the sound of your voice in the mask. And when I came to the looping session and I heard it, and I went, oh no, the sound of the mask is not good. I said, no, we should do the whole thing.
I had such a unbearable hatred for you, Rick.
And they didn't have the pages for everything, and they weren't planning on recording everything.
Look at it! See it!
I don't know. That was a judgment call that I never agreed with, and I do regret that the film, as we do see it now, has those sound issues, and it's not lost on anybody. There are times when Doom sounds perfectly lucid, and then there are these shots where it's like, you hear him like, and you can't hear what he's saying. And I've always been annoyed at that, and I will continue to be until we fix it.
Keep your cool.
Sometimes he sounds good. I think
it's mainly when he's when he projects, when he's projecting his voice.
Well, the close-ups, the close-ups when he doesn't have to project, it's good. And he said that he's open to come back and re-record his lines. So,
if this film ever gets released,
we'll talk later. We'll talk later about that, about this movie and how it is. And then last person to talk about, you got Kat Green as Alicia Masters. Do you like her portrayal?
I mean, it feels kind of way too exaggerated for a travel blind person. But
I don't know. I kind of liked it.
I like it. It's just sometimes it feels way too exaggerated.
In the documentary, she talks about how when she auditioned for the scene when the homeless people kidnap her, she's we're gonna talk about the homeless people. But when she. Apparently, she's the only one that really nailed it because everyone else sucked.
They had me auditioning for the role of Alicia, and I went in there, and I'm from New York originally, and that's sort of where I studied acting, and so I was more of a theater actor at the time, and so coming into a room of you know, Hollywood models. I was very intimidated, and I was shorter than them, and so I go in there and I do this scene, and I remember it was a pretty emotional scene. They wanted me to go sort of over the top or be, you know, very emotional in it. And so I did the audition, and then they were like, wow, where are you from? You can actually act. So I kind of think that they were seeing like a lot of models who maybe couldn't act or something. And I'm like, I'm not that good, so.
And, because actually, I don't know, she really does do a good job. I really do believe she's like...
She's believable.
She's actually
blind,
like...
but sometimes it feels like it's a little too exaggerated.
Her character... We'll kind of talk about her like whole character's place in the story. But overall, she does a great job. I mean, I don't know what to say about Kerry Washington in the Tim Story movies. Because she's like in one scene in the first one.
She's in one scene in the first one.
And then she's
got more of a prominent role in the second one.
Yeah, for it's like the first half, and then she kind of like disappears after the wedding.
Yeah.
Fantastic 2, Fantastic 3, Fantastic 4.